Let's get to the money.
Let's get to the
Money.
Let's get to the
Money. Let's get to the motherfucking money.
Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in your ass screaming fuck the bookies. Woke up in the morning, grab my little black book. Yesterday can eat a dick, cause we lost by the hook. Can't win them all, so you never see me get shook. Today's a new day, the bookmaker's getting cooked. When I spot a dirty keg of 4 units getting played, always find the value, I would never be afraid. Scary money don't win, but I'm not going all in unless I see a bet I love, then I put my balls on a bookie's chin. Let it all soak in, doubling my bread, winning money with my friends. If you got the itch and you wanna go big, follow Sharpie bets and you gon' really fucking win. This is not financial advice, it's entertainment. But if I find the right price, believe I'm parlaying it. You can see my spreadsheet, I'm winning, not just saying it. Profit in the green every week, I'm never negative. I can bet an ace or a shitty old picture. Pick the right spots cause I'm the K-pop whisperer. Shut up when I speak until you finally get the picture. I'm the best in the world, tell me you getting richer. Fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, 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 fuck the bookies. FTV screaming fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies, fuck the bookies. Middle finger in the air screaming fuck the bookies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies.
Let's get to the motherfucking monies. Welcome to the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. I'm your host, Sharpie's Bets, and it's the beginning of our week, Tuesday, which means we got us some ribeyes with Mike, that is, to talk us some hitting props, as well as the pitching props we're going to cover on this show today as well. This show is not sponsored by no one, as we're doing this out of our own generosity, so I do appreciate those that have find their way over to this channel, as it is every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. On this show, guys, we will talk the opening lines of pitching props as well as the closing K-prop line 30 minutes prior to the show going live. So do me a favor, if you like what you're hearing, smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. First guy we're going to talk about today is going to be Senior Andrew Abbott of the Cincinnati Reds. And he gets himself a shot at the San Diego Padres. He's striking people out this year 20% of the time while walking people 7% on the year. Morning line was 4.5 at plus 116 on FanDuel. We're the best line available now. To that 4.5 is plus 105 still on FanDuel. Pitching outs is 16.5 minus 125 juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at a 2.5 minus 140 juice to the over as well. Projected lineup is 6 righties, 3 lefties. Andrew Abbott, guys, gets his shot at the Padres after going 7 strong innings versus the D-backs, yet only had himself 4 punch-outs. And the D-backs finally did what a team should do when facing Andrew freaking Abbott. And that's sit the goddamn lefties, as, guys, Abbott over his career is striking out lefties 29.5% of their at-bats compared to just 23% from the right-handed side. And we get these dumbass Padres projecting 3 lefties. Granted, one of them is being Luis Arias. So when we go look at the Padres numbers over their last 200 plate appearances versus lefties, they're walking around league average, only striking out 21% of the time, yet having a bottom 4 isolated power. And I took advantage of that last night, guys, and smacked their team total under 3.5 versus Sale, and they had none. And that's what I picked up on, guys, is over the time span of these numbers, they've seen 2 dogs in that time span. Chris Sale went 7 innings, had 9 punch-outs with allowing 0 runs. Shota had himself 8 punch-outs as well, going 7 innings, allowing 2 runs. Now, it actually gets worse, guys, but the games before don't fall under these numbers. Lodolo had himself 11 punch-outs in 7 innings, and Ranger Suarez had himself 8 strikeouts in 7 innings as well versus these Padres. Now, this K percentage is kind of fraudulent, guys, when it comes to these Padres versus a lefty, as I've been able to pick up on them, guys, with the right guys, and I don't know if Abbott is the right guy, but I do know this is the correct number. We get the Arias tax, guys, a team not striking out, technically, to lefties. And I'm going to tell you guys, I don't want to go under on a team not hitting either. as every single lefty I would bet on has gone 7 or more innings versus these Padres in the last month. Uh, and that's a lot, guys. And with the amount of lefties that they're projecting and Machado and Tatis in this lineup, 5 strikeouts is doable, guys. There's not much wiggle room if you ask me. Now, the Padres are coming off back-to-backs, guys, but don't have to travel far, and they have plenty of time to get into their hotels and get some sleep before a late game. So lineup pending, guys, I may leave it be, but I am leaning towards his outs over 16.5, guys, as since the first 15 days, once the numbers came out, when this man has played a team with a bottom 5 isolated power, he's 2-1 to his outs over, averaging 6 innings a game. Next guy, where I thought it was going to be easy, now it's going to be a little bit tougher, but we got to hit the music, right? We got to talk us a little bit of John Gray at the Phillies, striking people out 24% of the time while walking people 6.5% on the year. Morning line 5.5 minus 102 on FanDuel, where the best line available now is 5.5 plus 110 on DK. Pitching out 16.5 minus 125 juice to the over, whereas earned runs are at a 3.5 minus 145 juice to the under. Projected lineup is no longer projected, guys, as I believe we got 5 lefties because they put Clemens in. Let me look real quick. Don't want to give you a wrong lineup. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5 lefties, 4 righties as they switch Sosa for not Merrifield like I thought, but for fucking Clemens. What a bomb. Hopefully I'm not yelling at him by the end of the night. Let's talk John Gray, guys, as he gets his shot at the Phillies, who over the last 15 days have technically been one of the most elite teams in baseball, at least not striking out to righties, as they're only striking out 17% of the time. They're walking top 3 in the league, and they have a middle-of-the-pack isolated power. Granted, guys, they haven't seen a right-handed pitcher I would look to go over with. And we get a 5.5 on Gray to a team that's striking out 17% of the time. And a guy who's only averaging 5.2 strikeouts a game in his first 10? But he is 5-5 to the over 5.5. And that's all we can ask for, guys, is when we're betting a guy is let's bet his man's average. Now, they should adjust it to a team not striking out unless we got past history. And this projected lineup, guys, we just have 21.5% career strikeout percentage against. So why didn't this open at plus money? And as I'm doing this write-up, I'm watching it go, and I'm like, most of the books start to go, and I'm like, man, I'm getting to this under. Like, this should have opened at plus money to the over, and it's going to get there. Like, and then we get into it, guys, as I did expect Merrifield to take Sosa's spot, and he's not in there. We got a guy named Clemens. Clemens is at the back end of the lineup. God, that guy he's going to strike out once. Let's hope that he doesn't strike out twice, as I am on the under 5.5 strikeouts here, guys, at minus 105. Here and why, there's a few different reasons, guys. When we run through the past history, we got a 21.5% strikeout rate. The top 3 guys are only striking out to him 25% of the time or less. And the books are telling me this guy's not going to see the top of the lineup, probably not 3 times today, guys. John Gray has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. When the books put a guy's earned runs at 3.5, they're right about 75% of the time. Now, when they put a guy who's been elite like John Gray's runs at 3.5, that percentage goes up, guys. I've been doing this pitching prop shit for a long time. John Gray hasn't allowed more than 2 runs in 9 straight games, and his earned runs are at 3.5. John Gray's getting smacked today, guys. And when I went through the book and I seen John Gray when he got smacked, going from last year to this year, if he gives up more than 3 runs, he is 1-9 to the over 5.5. Take that with the career strikeout percentage. Take that with them actually moving Marsh to the back, who is a problem to strike out. Yeah, I think 5 is a good day for John Gray today. I think 6 is just a little too much. So I am on the under 5.5 strikeouts for John Gray today. And I'm hoping that our guy has some hitting props in that game and he's beating the dog piss out of John Gray. But we never know, guys. But it's about that time where we're going to talk us some hitting. It's with your favorite RBI guy. He's my favorite RBI guy. Wait, no one even talked RBIs till this guy came along. Y'all know him as Pimp Slap. I know him as the last fucking Megalodon.
Megalodon, the size of really 2 school buses. Are they extinct? Are they extinct?
That's the big question.
What's the new evidence now?
A satellite photo near Sao Paulo. When you compare them next to the first photo, I'd say that's a 70-foot shark.
Yeah. What up, Sharpie? How you doing, my guy?
I'm chilling, bro. Just kicking back, trying to, bicking back, being boo, as the kids would say. Hey, I want to be cool.
I don't know what that means, but I hope I'm still cool.
Man, bro, did you cash all those unders the other night, bro? I go to bed early, so I know the game was close. I know you were on the Padres game, and you just kept taking was it 9.5?
Yeah, I think it got to God, I don't remember what the final was. But I know
I was drunk that night. Sharpie, leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean most nights, but that's the play. I've said it before, man. If you cap a number, sometimes shit happens early, and it takes better than anybody with these K props. It takes these guys a minute sometimes to fall into the groove, and then once you kind of get that pressure of not screwing up off your back because you screwed up, you fall into the line. And I'm a big proponent not taking the adjusted lines. I've been crushing it in the NHL specifically, where you'll see 2 goals early. They'll throw a 7.5 out there, but my numbers say 5.5. I'm going back to that original number, and I'm catching it at plus 270s and plus 280s, and it's a smash job. So that's I'm a firm believer. Stick to your numbers. Now, some things listen. If it's 4-3 and the total's an 8 after the first inning, you probably just move on from that game. You lost that one. Take that one on the chin and move forward. But as far as unders are concerned, man, I looked at this slate today. There's a couple of games that we'll talk about, Sharpie, that to me are just dead nuts overs. We got let's get to the elephant in the room here, the fucking wind howling out to center right at Wrigley. Double digit plus there. I think it's 11 right now. They're expecting gust upwards of 25 miles an hour. Then we got another spot out there in Kansas City. Even though it's a Detroit matchup and AL Centrals tend to go under. We saw what happened yesterday, and there's another one with favorable hitting conditions, but I could see quite a few lower scoring spots today. And, you talk about John Gray. John Gray's not a game that I targeted here. And I'll tell you why. I looked at this game and I thought the numbers were low. Every one of these guys' RBI opportunities, just, plus 120s, plus 130s. And that's not where we eat. You can do it, but it kind of messes up the formula. I was talking about this yesterday on last call, and I said, the thing about baseball, it's all about the numbers, the law of large numbers. It's no different than the way they develop insurance premiums. They base it on a large mass and sampling. And if you're just trying to go in there and find 1 or 2 spots, it could be a tough season in Major League Baseball. So you got to open up, you got to roll with the punches, but you got to manage the bankroll at the same time. And my point around all of that is plus 125s aren't how we want to get paid. We'll do it if we have to in some spots, but I didn't think today we had to. I thought today we were able to crack the code and find a couple of spots that made a lot of sense. But as far as that game's concerned, I do like Castellanos at plus 163 to get the job done. Schwarber's sitting there at plus 140, but then you see big Uncle Bryce Harper sitting at plus 125. Real Muto's at plus 135. Should be a lot of runs. I'm going to probably end up on the first 5 team total over for the Phillies in that game, but I don't know. I have a sneaky suspicion Texas hands them their lunch today. I like Nate Lowe too. If Texas is going to win the game, then Nate Lowe's got to be the guy you look at plus 215. But that's just on the fly. That's not the games that we're trying to attack. That's just a little insight from the world that I was able to dig up here for us today, Sharpie. What's going on with you?
I'm chilling, my guy. Just kicking.
I like
Yeah, bro. Went for the sweep last night with Valdez to record the win. Up 6-1 in the fucking 5th, and that fucker bent over and decided to let Reed Detmers know, hey, anything you can do, I can do better. I just gave it up for me. So plus money spot, I took the shot on with him. But, been seeing the board super well. Played little Miguel yesterday versus Cleveland, bro. He picked up a split finger, bro, and I'm like, they're still booking this guy as Miguel from last year, bro, and took advantages of the books with that yesterday. So knew Yoshi was gonna hit, didn't bet it. Just reading the lines, bro, understanding what's going on. Why the fuck is Yoshi a 5.5 minus 150 versus the Diamondbacks who don't strike out and he only had 5 last time? Oh, that's an easy under. Why is it minus 145 to the over? Because he's fucking hitting the over. That's why, guys. So just pay attention to the books. You got to. And that's why I brought up the John Gray, bro. Like 3.5 earned runs on a guy who hasn't given up more than 2 runs in 9 straight games. They are telling you he is getting sodomized today. Like, what else do you want to hear, guys? And we'll get into that when we talk on some Ranger Suarez. So let's talk some hitting props.
Man, oh man, Ranger Suarez too has himself a little run going out there when it comes down to it. 4-0, 4 wins with a sub. You'll get into it. You'll get into all the numbers there, but I'll tell you what, it looks like a nice spot for Ranger Suarez. I just have to really dig in and see if it's too nice to be true, but let's go after it. Let's talk about this first game here. I just put the cat out of the bag talking about this Wrigley situation. So let's jump in and let's dominate this spot here. It's got a new mouse. Finally, the batteries kept dying, and this thing is turbo speed right now. So I'm trying to get it all together.
These things are beautiful, aren't they? These little turbo freaking.
Yeah, it's got some side triggers on it too that I feel like I'm playing a PlayStation game or something here. So I'm trying to get it all figured out here. Looks like I hit the R2 button and my guy went to the bunt position. But look, we're going to talk about this game here. Cubs and Braves. Big deal going on. Obviously, yesterday's unexpected doubleheader for Atlanta is the conversation that everybody likes to talk about. Right now I'm hearing a lot of conversation about the Cubs and, at plus 112, I don't know that that's what I want to get invested in out there. And I know everyone seems to think because of this high number, it's that automatic over, but I'm still a little apprehensive about that as well. Atlanta is definitely a team that comes off an under and keeps consecutively putting unders together. Has a lot to do with either their feast or famine with their bats and the way things go. Now, you go down the line. I mean, we could just throw them all out there. Acuna and Ozuna, Riley and Olsen, Darno down there in the 8 spot are guys to hit, but I'm going to go over to this Cubs side of things. What I know about the Cubs and the way this season started here is they were the number 1 offense on their home field in Major League Baseball through the first quarter of the season. You don't get that way by not being able to slug. And who are we going out there and slugging against? Ground Chuck, guy loves to hit ground balls out there, likes to play to contact. And that's enough to get these guys rolling around the bases. Give me somebody who's got the most success in Major League Baseball today against a pitcher out there. 18 at-bats, 7 hits, 2 ribbies, 389. He's got Topman and Suzuki in front of him. And then don't sleep on the bottom of that order. Dansby's hitting 400 against Charlie Morton in the 7 spot. Michael Busch, we talked about him in the first quarter of the season as well, a guy that was mashing potatoes all over the place. And then Miguel Amaya. All these guys are capable of getting on base. There should be plenty of meat on the bone when Cody Bellinger finally struts his ass up there. And it's been a down year for him thus far, but we know how red hot he was. And once he gets firing, the bats keep rolling. He's in the sweet spot for us at plus 145, Sharpie. Cody Bellinger is going to open up our ticket today.
Bro, I have Cody Bellinger, freaking all types of stuff, like figurines of him as Rookie of the Year, MVP. He is literally great one year, bad one year.
Yeah.
Great one year, bad. It's every other freaking year with this guy, bro. It's like, dude, this is why the Dodgers got rid of you, bro. It's like you are a top 10 player when you're on, but when you're off.
And he's commanding a big salary to be in a guy that's inconsistent at best, which means it takes away from spreading the love around to other guys. And that's going to hurt that team overall, right? I mean, the Cubs, feast or famine, just like we talked about with the bats and the Atlanta side of things here. When you overpay guys, look at these Yankees. Like last year's situation, you overpay these guys with Giancarlo, who we got that big bomb with the other day, Aaron Judge. You got $1 billion in salary tied up out there. The Yankees might be a little different, I guess. It takes it away from other spots for most teams. Maybe not the Yankees, though.
Oh, man. Cody Bellinger, RBI plus 145, first spot of the day. Where are you going next?
Let's roll on. Let's go out to Great American Ballpark. 11th highest favorable runs per game conditions today, but 10.5 miles an hour shooting down this guts out there to center right field. And talk about favorable hitting conditions. Currently pegged at about 87 degrees Fahrenheit out there. Looking to get upwards of 90 by the time the game starts here. Partly sunny, 44 degrees humidity, low to no precipitation. It should be a wonderful night to see the ball fly, and why not take a shot at it against somebody coming back with the untested 15-day injured reserve situation out there in Musgrove. Let's take a fade on this guy. Starting in here, 6.37 ERA, 39.5% hard hit percentage out there. Should be getting guys out. Now, granted, over the last, 2.5, 3 seasons, he's been one of the best NL pitchers out there. But unfortunately for him, he had to take that stint on the IL. And who's the guy that I want to see come up there and smash this guy right in the fucking head? Ellie De La Cruz. He's got 3 at-bats, 1 hit against the guy. He's in the 2-hole, but my goodness, look at what this guy's been doing out there as of late. We got to find these guys that fall into form. And Ellie De La Cruz, man, that first series, the first game against the Dodgers, 4 for 4. And the thing is, he's been stealing bases like crazy. Go look at what his stolen base prop is today. It's minus 115 out there. They're expecting this guy to go do damage. He's got 30 stolen bases. That's 12 more than anybody else in baseball. You can't steal bases if you're not getting on base. Let's just lay that out there at this point, right? You're in a situation where that means you're making contact out there. And unfortunately, De La Cruz is one of those guys that can swing on it both sides of the ball. And so I think this is the advantage for him at this, when you've got that double hitting or the dual hitting side of things, or the guy that can hit it from both sides. They're the advantage against the pitcher out there that now we have coming off the IL, trying to find the weakness. He's also gone 1 for 3 in the double against Musgrove out there. Should be a guy to not only get the RBI, but steal the base. And he's priced at plus 175, Sharpie.
Yeah.
Plus 175. Musgrove's all year round. 10 home runs this season out there. What are we talking about here? Plus 175. I'm going to back sprinkle it as well. Ellie De La Cruz on the home run, but give me plus 175.
I was just looking at Musgrove or whatnot, seeing how long he was going to go. He only threw a couple bullpens. He never rehabbed assignment, so probably tops 5 innings today. So they're still going to have a mediocre bullpen guy to eat up some innings as well in there. So, yeah, as well as that doubleheader yesterday had to eat up some of their guys. So it's that's all. There's plenty of good things going into that, and I like it.
Yeah, I think Ellie's a good spot for us there, and I love the number. I struggled at first because a lot of the go-to guys, kind of our A tier, our prime cut beef, if you will, they're sitting around plus 120s, plus 105s out there. So we got to go deeper. We had to go to the second tier of options out there. And, here's an option that is trying to make his debut in my starting lineup here. We're going to go on out to this Detroit-Kansas City game. I talked about the hitting conditions at the start of the segment here, and I stand by it here. Here's a spot where, unfortunately, I misread it yesterday. I was on the under in that Detroit spot, under 8.5. It was Kansas City that stepped the shit up and smashed that ball right around heartbreak. Actually, you know what? They did me a favor, Sharpie. It was around the 6th inning that they peeled the Band-Aid off and let that scab just bleed out. I didn't have to watch it anymore after that because I had already toasted my under. And so I'm good with it. That's the kind of way I like to lose. Just get it over with and get me on to something else. And in this case here, though, another tricky spot. Elements favoring, to me, 16 miles an hour out. Shit, what are we talking about here? Going out in a Kauffman Stadium, which, kind of underrated when it comes to their hitting park status out there. We've talked about it before with Kansas City and kind of the deal that they want to go out there and they built the stadium for the recognition of some of their key guys to go out there and smash home runs. Now they're sitting in a situation where kind of falling second fiddle here, but we got Alec Marsh. We got Casey Mize on the bump for this one here. And look, the guy I got to pick on here, I expect him probably to win the game. Team comes off at nerfy. They find a way to get the job done. That is Kansas City. Kansas City, I believe, is now 16-8 overall and 8-16 to the under when they come off that no-run first inning, which they did yesterday's game. But I'm going to bring a new guy into the lineup here. He's a rookie. Give me this guy, Wencel Perez. Kind of an interesting spot here. The reason that I went with this guy, first of all, his price, plus 165, tells me that he's not just a regular old schlub in the middle, dub out there. He's going to try to go out there and figure this thing out. Center fielder guy, again, hits both ways. Swings both ways to get the job done. Advantage now shifts over to the hitter. We know that from talking previously there. Then we look at this guy, and what's the wind doing out there for this guy particularly? It's funneling right out to his pole spot. Wencel Perez wants to go for the bomb. He's only got 3 home runs on the season, but above average hard hit rates across Major League Baseball standards, barrel rates up there as well. And we've got them conditions that are favorable into his speed slot out there, his pole position, the direction that wind is howling at double digits, and it's plus 165. We're going to bring this Rook on up there. This is one of those spots where they say the conditions favor 20% more home runs than any other spot in Major League Baseball. And I think this is a great opportunity to bring the new buck in, Wencel Perez. Nobody's talking about him, but you remember where you heard it first. You heard it here first, my guy. Sharp. Let's go.
We ain't talking pretzels. We talking Wencel Perez, motherfuckers. But yeah, bro, I'll be talking about trying to fade me some mice. So
it falls in line. I love the synchronized there. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. I got two more for you guys. I'm going to bring another new trotter out to the stable for me here. We're going to bring him out of the barn. Although he's not new to success, the guy has been, I didn't have time. He was just a late minute ad. And I was like, absolutely, I'm going to add this guy. Let's go to this Astros and the Angels game. Again, a situation where Javier, I fucking told everybody last game about the Javier bounce back spot. Nobody believed me. And all of a sudden he comes out there and he gets the job done. But Griffin Canning can certainly get lit up like the gas can that he is, 7-8 against this squad. And what do we need to say? You guys know I'm a sucker for Tucker. He smashed it for me yesterday. Altuve, Alvarez, Pena. But let's not sleep on the old first baseman snuggled in there in the 5 spot. Johnny Singleton batting as a lefty. And, we look at the situation here. Certainly Griffin Canning's capable of gunning down lefties, but this is just a pitch to contact situation. Again, a lot of guys in front of him that should be capable of getting on base. And every time I look at a fucking Houston game, Singleton's a guy that smashes somebody home. So let's not reinvent the wheel with this guy. Let's give him an introduction. Let's welcome him to the show. Let's get him on there for RBI number 4 at plus 175. And we got one to boot, one to bring us home. It's the late spot out there, Sharpie. 10 p.m. my time. 10 is Tennessee Eastern time? Are you Eastern?
No, I'm Central. I'm Central.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch. This one's going to be late. We got Gavin Stone. We got Brandon Pfaadt going on out there trying to make this thing happen. And, look, I don't know. I'm not going to get too cute with this thing here. Where I'm looking at is I'm going to go right to the leadoff position. It's either boom or bust for this Diamondbacks team when it comes to they score early, they stay in the game, or they don't, and they're shit. And Corbin Carroll is priced at plus 235 for me. Doesn't have any experience against Gavin Stone, but don't fret because there's only 2 guys that have seen him, Jock Peterson, Eugenio Suarez, and that was pre their life with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So new guy up and coming, trying to make that spot out there, but struggling right now. Struggling in the ERA category, certainly capable of letting some guys get on base. And I just expect Corbin Carroll to bop a dong right off the top here, get this thing over with in that first inning, first hit, contact, first hit, home run. But we're going to cash plus 235. I know he hasn't had the best season. He hasn't been out there mowing everybody down, but look, you're going to give me a shot against Gavin Stone, who's letting up a 322 against lefties. The OBA is 385. Now righties, and this is where I kind of fall back to this guy, even though he's in the 1 spot and we need him to get it off the top. Look at Gavin Stone's ineptness when it comes to sitting out there handling a righty. And we got 5 of the 6 batters in front of Corbin Carroll are right-handed batters. Should be able to get on base second time and third time around like Corbin Carroll knock somebody in as well. That might be one of those little rare spots where I try to go with a 2+. We'll see how the RBI business does for us throughout the evening. But I could just see that being a spot where, sleeping on Arizona, they find a way to put a couple runs in there. And Corbin Carroll's the guy that's just getting 4 or 5 at-bats to get it done. I think that's a good spot for him. So that's it. We got a 5-pack today. We got some new hitters to introduce, some new names to watch, Sharpie, but it should be a lot of fun to see how it plays out tonight, my guy.
Bro, as always, bro, I appreciate it. We talked a little hitting props for a while today, and I'm glad, bro. I mean, we get us a little hitting, a little hyped up, bro. So until next time, let these fine people know what you got going on, where to find you.
Hell yeah, I love talking some hitting coming on here with you, my guy. It's a lot of fun. But follow me over our next guys at PimSlap POD. We got the last call 6 p.m. tonight, and we're gonna run it back. You guys know the deal. All sports, all action that we've got going on out there. Sharpie, don't judge me, but I started getting into the WNBA. Been doing some capping in the WNBA. Aesthetically, it's appealing, and from that perspective.
Trey bets the WNBA, bro. So I won't knock you for that. I have a buddy who every day bets WNBA. So
yeah, I feel like, hey, we can take a shot at it. We can take some swings, and
you got to take advantage of lines they don't have advantage of like they do in baseball and football. Like they have hundreds of years of, okay, they've got a system, a formatted system of how they know what's going to go on,
Right.
where WNBA has been around for how many years? And how many years has it even been bet on? For like 2 or 3. So it's like, it's still new, just like props are. And we got to take advantage of that shit.
Absolutely. The Caitlin Clark watch is now 1-3 to the under in her points total. So keep your eyes on Caitlin Clark. Excuse me. Everybody gets me choked up just thinking about it, but she's got herself a nice little 1-3 to the under in her points prop here. Keep your eyes on that. As long as it's over 20 points, take her under. Let's go get it, Sharpie. Anyhow, I digress. I get excited. I love talking sports with you, my guy. So be good, get that cash, and I'll check out here and watch the rest of the show.
Megalodon, the size of really 2 school buses. Are they extinct? Are they extinct?
That's the big question.
What's the new evidence now?
A satellite photo near Sao Paulo. When you compare them next to the first photo, I'd say that's a 70-foot shark.
Why you want me to talk about the Madden Sims I used to bet on before I'd take a nap, Noli? Mind your business. Mind your business. Let me talk to you. But yes, sir. Right now I'm on John Gray under 5.5 strikeouts at -105. And let's go talk the other side of this. And that's Ranger Suarez versus the Rangers. Striking people out 26.5% of the time, while walking people at a 4.5% clip. Morning line 5.5 plus 125 on DraftKings, where the best line available is at plus 128. Still on DraftKings at that 5.5. Pitching out 17.5 -200 to the over. Earned runs are at 2.5 -125 juice to the under. Projected lineup is 6 righties, 3 lefties, and that's the lineup that came out. Now, the other side of this equation, guys, is Ranger Suarez, and he gets a team who over the last 15 days has 200 plate appearances versus the lefties. And you actually rarely see that. And they're not walking. They're league best at not striking out, as well as being bottom 10 in isolated power. So let's go see who they've seen that I would bet on. And yeah, what a bunch of fucking nobodies, guys. Is the only 2 who are even decent pitchers are Sandoval and Anderson from the Angels. And Anderson went 7 innings of 1-run ball with just 4 strikeouts, where Sandoval went 6 innings, 1 earned run, and had 5 strikeouts as well. So we can expect Ranger guys to be out there at least 6 innings today, not just because they're not hitting lefties, because he's at home. And we know how Philly wets their infield and how it plays up to a ground ball pitcher. And Suarez is 4% better than league average when it comes to his ground ball percentage, as well as Ranger Suarez having a K percentage of 26% versus both sides. And that actually comes into play versus these Rangers because they're dumb enough to run 3 lefties versus a lefty. And that is how Ranger can hit this K prop. Now, Ranger only has career 24% K percentage versus lefties and just a 21% versus righties. But he dominates the left-handed side, guys, whether it comes down to on-base percentage, slugging, or batting average. And now you're going to add in 3 of them, guys, which favors our boy. Now, if you want to go past these numbers, Mackenzie Gore had himself 7 strikeouts in 5 innings of work. Andrew Abbott had 7 strikeouts in 5.1 innings of work, where Chris Sale went 7 in 7 innings. Now, the only issue why I haven't slammed the over 5.5 is Gore, Sale, and Abbott all have a K percentage or better versus the left-handed side of 28%. And we've got a guy who, yes, this year 26.5%, but through his career is only just 24% versus the left-handed side. So what I did and the way I'm going to attack it, guys, is my guys that I would bet on are going over 6 innings. This guy is a ground ball pitcher. We are in Philadelphia. I went over 17.5 outs at -200, and then I parlayed it to the over 2.5 at -400. That over 2.5 being the team total of the Phillies. Like I said and this was on MGM, I got even money by taking his outs over 17.5 and taking the Phillies team total over 2.5. They're saying John Gray's giving up 3.5. I just said, okay, I'll take the 2.5 and not be greedy. I love his outs prop today. Why? Because he's faced 4 teams at home that is non-division. And when he's faced those teams, he has gone at least 6 innings or more in every one of those games. This is out of the division at home once again. Ground ball machine versus a team not hitting lefties and in Philadelphia, yeah, definitely. So I am on a single game parlay on MGM at even money, over 17.5 outs. Team total altered down to over 2.5 for the Phillies, and Ranger Suarez is out. Over. Now we got Casey Mize to talk about, and man, I'm waiting to hit him too. As he's striking people out 17.5% on the year, while walking people just 5.5% of the time. Morning line was 4.5 plus 105. No, 3.5. My bad. 3.5 plus 105 on DraftKings, where the best line available to that 3.5 is plus 10 on DraftKings. Still pitching out 16.5 minus 125 juice to the under. Earn runs 2.5 minus 145 juice to the over. Projected lineup is 5 righties and 4 lefties. Casey Mize gets the Royals for the second time this year, where the first game was back on April 27th. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, and struck out just 2 batters. And when you look at how the Royals have been the last 2 weeks, they're the Royals. They're not walking, middle of the pack isolated power while striking out just 18.5% of the time. And it looks like this should be another easy under, guys, as when I check out Mize's game log and what has worked and haven't worked for him, seems to be chase contact and zone contact are just the murderous thing to him when it comes to running a K-prop over. And when we look at this projected lineup, only one person falls under that category, and I want him out of this lineup before I take this under. Yes, I could have grabbed the under this morning at minus 122, but I'm willing to pay the minus 145 or minus 150 if I on this under 3.5. If they take Velasquez out this lineup and put a Frazier in or even a Blanco at this point. As Melendez and Vasquez in this lineup may be enough to keep me off, but at the moment, it's one way or nothing, and that is under, guys. It's the only 2 guys in this lineup who have more than 3 at-bats is Witt, who struck out 1 of his 6, and Perez, who has just struck out 2 of his 22 at-bats. And what do Perez and Witt have? Elite chase contact. As Witt does not have the best zone contact, and when we go through this projected lineup, we only have one person who is bad at chase contact, with one person being bad at zone and chase contact. Can you guess his name by now? Velasquez. So you must not be listening to this or to what I'm saying is Velasquez needs to be out this damn lineup, guys, and this will be a easy, no-sweat bet to me, I think, and that's the type of bet I want to be on. As, yes, if you look at what Casey Mize throws, fastball, slider, split finger, but the Royals have a problem with the slider, Sharpie. Yes, the Royals do have a problem with a good slider. This man has a whiff percentage of just 15% on that pitch and putting people away at just 7.5% of the time. He ain't putting away people with that pitch. And yeah, he ain't making people miss with that pitch. So what I'm getting to, guys, is take out Velasquez and I will be on the under. I'm not worried about the juice that will come with Velasquez being out of the lineup. That's fine with me. But I also don't want to be involved with a Velasquez, a Macy, and a Melendez in the middle of the lineup where those guys could themselves punch out 4 fucking times, 3 times. And then what happens if somebody gets pissed off, like the game I was listening to last night? Well, forget which game it was. Oh, it was the other day. It was Cease. Cease got a strikeout on Ozuna. I was like, dude, 6.5 is such a trap. Everybody and their mom is betting the over versus the Braves. Nah, I'm staying off. This don't seem right. This seems fucking terrible right here. And it was. Cease didn't come close, but the Ozuna pitch, Ozuna got the second strike that was nowhere near the plate, called a strike. And because a batter gets into his head and he gets mad at the umpire, you could guarantee he's striking out on the next pitch, and that's what happened. So if that happens in this game with those 3 in there, he can hit this over. I'm looking to be on the under today, and if I don't tweet it out, I'm okay with that. But what I do have as well is not a bunch of big-ass breakdowns, but I do got some action. As Adrian Hauser, guys, is going for the Mets today. In his last 2 games played, he has come out the bullpen and has not thrown more than 45 pitches. The books are not offering an outs prop, which means he's on a pitch count. I think he goes around 60, at the most 75 today. Versus a team, guys, who runs a lefty dominant lineup in Cleveland. And Hauser can't strike out anyone, as he has a career 18% K rate versus both sides of the plate. It's lefties through his career that has just hit him better, as lefties have a better batting average against by 50 points, as well as the on-base percentage and slugging go up near 100 points. So we got a guy who has started 6 games at the beginning of the year, his last 2 out the pin, and in his first game started, he is 1-5 to the over 3.5, and it hasn't even seen a contact chase team like the Guardians. And you're going to put it at a super juiced out 3.5? That's fine. He's on a damn pitch count, guys. So at the end of the day, I went like this with this. I took the under 3.5 minus 180 on Hauser, and then I hooked it up to Clark Schmidt of the Yankees at 5+ minus 650, and I got minus 127 on the under minus 180. I pretty much, Clark should be in for a day, guys, today. He's got the same type of pitch mix Burns has. Burns, I ran over the weekend. Burns had 10 versus this lineup. This should be a 6.5. The juice came down on Schmidt at the 6.5, pretty much because Crawford's back on this team. Crawford leads off. He is a tough strikeout. I'm betting this guy just to get 5 strikeouts, as he's had that in all but one game this year. So give me Clark Schmidt, 5 strikeouts, hooked to the under 3.5 of Hauser strikeouts, as he is on a pitch count. He may be able to get the back end of this lineup, but he's only seen the back end of this lineup one time. He struggles with lefties who hit him hard. We've got 7 lefties in this lineup. The guy hasn't pitched more than 45 pitches over the last 15 days in a game. He's on a count, guys. He's versus a team that doesn't strike out. This, to me, was like, how do I get the juice down? And that's the way I got the juice down, as FanDuel's already moved him to a 2.5. As well as Garrett Crochet, guys. He's 5.5 at plus money, guys, where he was hit the over 5.5 in 8 of his 10 games this year. Seems fishy, right? Well, it's not. They have done this for years with lefties versus the Blue Jays, as I've seen legit Cy Young contenders like Shane McClanahan at a 5.5 versus these boys. As I've come accustomed to it, guys, if you're an ace, then you can average a strikeout per inning versus this team, and really not much more. As the times I would play McClanahan, guys, it was usually 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and the better play was his outs that days, because that usually hit before his strikeouts. And when we look at the Jays' numbers versus lefties, they're tops in the league in walking, as well as not striking out, yet they are bottom 5 in isolated power. And if you're not hitting, you're going to give Crochet action at that 5.5. Yet they put his outs at a 15.5, which he is 4-6 to the over this year. And that goes back to years of betting versus the Jays, guys. Look at the outs over if you want the strikeouts, as this is a spot normally where you're going to only average a strikeout per inning. Now, the problem with me pulling the trigger on his outs, guys, is how many guys this man can walk. As yes, it says he has a good walk percentage, yet through his career, he has been erratic at best at times. He has walked 3 or more this season, just 2 times, and he hasn't made it past the 5-inning mark. And now he's seen the best team in baseball at not striking out to lefties, as well as taking their walks. That can add up to him not hitting his outs props. Now, when I go through this, guys, there's only been one pitcher this year that has had 6 strikeouts or more from the left-handed side versus these Blue Jays. Hence the reason why this 5.5 is not a fucking trap. It's not. You're going to hear some people say, oh, it's easy. The books want the over money. No, the books do this with the Blue Jays. This is what they do with lefties versus the Blue Jays. I've seen it a million times, guys. They respect these bats versus the Blue Jays. They've seen Mackenzie Gore. They've seen Rodon. They both got drilled, didn't make it past 5 innings, had 4 or 5 strikeouts respectively. Cole Raggins is the only one to hit his over, while Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez, no, not Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Framer Valdez, both went 7+ innings, but yet had only 5 strikeouts. Hence what I said, the outs before the strikeouts, guys. None of those guys had 6 strikeouts. So I get the 5.5. The books aren't laying a trap. To me, this is a kick back and see wait type game. Garrett Crochet, are you really that dude? Because if you are, you're going to go 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. And that means, ooh, next time I have a question, if you're an ace, I can answer that. But as a 2-pitch pitcher who did use his changeup in his back-to-back, hasn't been using it that much in his last 2 games since I've looked. So it's been pretty much fastball, slider, and sprinkles in the changeup occasionally. So, excuse me. All right, guys. So until next time, y'all know the drill. Smash the like button if you like what you're hearing. If you love what you're hearing, go hit that retweet as well. I am on John Cray under 5.5 strikeouts minus 105. I am on a single game parlay of Ranger Suarez's outs over 17.5 with the Phillies altered team total over 2.5 at even money. And then I'm on a parlay as well where pretty much, guys, take that 3.5 from Adrian Hauser, hook it to whatever you like to get the juice down because it is minus 180 to 90 to 200 depending on what place. Take that 3.5, hook it to what you like. If you want to hear the reason why, go back and listen. But pitch count, lefties, should be a nice, good day of beating Hauser to death and singing glory, glory, hallelujah. I hooked it to Schmidt to get 5+ strikeouts of the Yankees. So, yeah, appreciate you guys all. And until next time, I'm Sharpie's Bets. Yeah.